Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Welcome to this edition of EP Love, which I tweeted out accidentally, but then read it back. I was like, yeah, we need some love today. This has been a kind of a tough morning. We're going to talk about that in a second here. But first, we are going to start with our rundown, and our dedication is to Cameron Paul, who's our brand new sponsor. And he had this to say, which was wonderful. The high quality of your content that you continue to put out since you've been off of television amazes me. No other video game channel on YouTube comes close. Cameron Paul, I'm reaching through the screen. I'm giving you a big hug. Thank you so much. It's very kind. I really appreciate that. The other dedication that we're giving this to is Anthony Bourdain, who has been a hero of mine for a long time. He's a person that chased his dream and shared it with the world in such an elegant and wonderful way. He showed us how small the world is, how similar people are all over the world, and that we all love great food, and just a champion for culture. And he always did it with a sense of humor and style and grace and wit. And so we are going to miss him so much. And listen, there are lots of sources of help out there. The way that he left this world is a tragic one. And if you are hurting, I encourage you, I implore you, please reach out. There are suicide hotlines all over the place in whatever territory you are watching this. But there are people that care, and they will help you, and the people around you care and want to know that you're okay as well, okay? So much love to everybody watching this and to all of the friends and family of Anthony Bourdain. But let's get started with your rundown. E3 has started a little bit early because several big game announcements have come in. Life is Strange developer Don't Nod Entertainment, which just released their new blood-sucking game Vampire, has announced their next big project. It's an all-new game called Twin Mirror, and like Life is Strange, it's a story-driven psychological thriller set in a small town. Players take the role of a man who returns home only to suffer a blackout and wake up the next morning with his shirt mysteriously covered in blood, so it's up to you to figure out what went wrong. Twin Mirror is due out next year. Don't Nod has confirmed that they're also working on Life is Strange 2, but that doesn't have a release window yet. You see what happens when you make an awesome game like Life is Strange? You have an opportunity to create all kinds of other cool games. I've been digging Vampire, by the way, or Vampire. I'll have a review for you guys very soon, but I've been playing some throughout the week. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about Don't Nod. One of the things that I dig about this studio quite a bit is their storytelling capabilities. I like their scripts, and I like their wordiness. I found the Life is Strange script was a little bit charming. I remember playing with that with Blake, and some of the things and some of the phrasing felt a little strange, which I just thought was cool. It made the this French development teams look at American high schoolers very unique and very refreshing. And I feel like this thing, which looks like a hybrid of Twin Peaks and maybe Silent Hill a little bit, I think this is going to be very cool. Looking forward to Twin Mirror next year from Don't Nod. Moving on to another big game announcement, a classic fighting franchise is punching and kicking its way back into our lives. Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja have announced Dead or Alive 6, the first all-new entry in their fighting series in almost 6 years. The game runs on an all-new engine, which promises to make everything look a lot more realistic, and the female characters appear to be a lot less sexualized than they have been in previous games. As for gameplay, longtime fans can expect the same core gameplay, although there will be a new combo attack and special attack system aimed at being more accessible to newcomers. Dead or Alive 6 is slated to arrive in early 2019. I've always dug these Dead or Alive games, and it's always been a little bit heartbreaking for me to see them be so sexist in the way that they portrayed women in these games. And part of it was a different era when the first Dead or Alive games came out, and things were, we still had booth babes at E3. It was just a different time. But then they didn't progress enough with some of their design ideas, and the beach volleyball games were just ridiculous. But the fighting systems and the mechanics and the ability to go from level to level and bust through environments and stuff, amazing. And I love the fighters and the characters that they've created for these Dead or Alive games. And clearly, fighting games are back in full force. All we need now is Sega to say there's a new Virtual Fighter game on the way, and we'll have the whole pantheon of fighting experiences out there. I know Mortal Kombat is coming too. Excited to play this. I am a DOA fan, and it comes out next year, so looking forward to that. On to the third big game reveal. The next Hitman game has been announced, and this time it was announced on purpose, so back off, Walmart. The first official trailer for the new game, Hitman 2, was released yesterday afternoon following an accidental posting on the Warner Brothers website that first revealed that the game was coming earlier this week. It's pretty much what we expected following the premature reveal. Hitman 2 is a follow-up to the 2016 episodic game, and best of all, it will have a new co-op mode allowing you to take out targets with a friend. Warner Brothers and developer IO Interactive haven't said if the game will use the same episodic release formula as the last one. It arrives this November, and I am very excited about this game. It looks incredible. I had a blast playing parts of Hitman 1. I didn't play all of it, so I never could sort of, it was pretty big. And so I didn't stick with it enough that I could come back and give you guys a full opinion on it. But what I did play, I thought was amazing. I love the Morocco stage. And I love the story here. We met Hannah Seifert, who is the CEO of IO, I think in 2016, and he was fantastic. A great guy to interview. We've got the interview on the channel, so please do watch that. We'll put a link in the description below. But he was a great interview, passionate gentleman, in charge of an incredible team, and then we saw the turmoil that they went through with Square Enix. So this is just fantastic news for them and their team. They're really, really strong believers in the work that they're doing and putting out there. These Hitman games always deliver a lot more than you see from first blush. There's a lot of intricacies and lots of ways to enjoy the experience. They're truly sandbox experiences, and they were really onto something with this episodic. I'm curious to see if Hitman 2 is going to follow that same formula. It doesn't have to, because clearly they can pack it all together and give you the collected edition like they have for Hitman 1. But Warner Brothers is a good fit. It sort of stretches them out into a new territory. It's not just using the Warner Brothers vertical brands and IP that they have. And they can try something new. And then, of course, they've made Hitman movies, so maybe this is going to bode well for a future Warner Brothers Hitman game. Who knows? We just want an awesome game, and if anybody's up to that, it's IO Interactive, so congrats there. And it looks like Just Cause has taken a page from the Hitman playbook. An advertisement for the new game Just Cause 4 appeared on Steam this morning, which is funny because publisher Square Enix hasn't officially announced it yet. Their press conference happens on Monday, so don't be surprised if the game is revealed then. It's unclear who's developing Just Cause 4. Series creator Avalanche Studios is already working on at least two big projects, the post-apocalyptic shooter Rage 2 and the new game Generation Zero, which was first announced yesterday. That means they might hand off Just Cause 4 to another studio, but we'll have to wait and see. I love the Just Cause games. They're insane, and they offer you lots and lots of freedom and lots of different ways to have crazy fun. Again, another sandbox open world experience. One of the things about the Just Cause games, though, is because they are so insane and comedy is such a big part of it, I have found myself not fully invested in these stories, not fully really caring if I have to do all of the objectives and stuff like that, because that's one of the troubles that you have when you're throwing comedy into these situations, is that you can kind of be removed from the experience. And this franchise is so zany and over the top that's happened to me when I've played Just Cause 2 and Just Cause 3. I've just sort of gone off and done crazy shit and had a good time doing that. But clearly Avalanche is an incredible developer. If they have expanded out to a 3-game team, congrats to them. They clearly got some big funding behind them, because probably each one of these games is at least 150 people. Maybe they're sharing engine, sort of break them, like same open world kind of dynamics and things like that. We'll find out. It looks like we're going to be able to play some of these games at E3 next week. Looking forward to that very much. And we're going to have an incredible time. Oh, and in case you didn't notice, I'm wearing the EPN t-shirt, which will be available to purchase at EXP, where we're hosting all of the E3 press conferences over the next few days. EXP is a bar and restaurant in downtown Vancouver, so if you're anywhere near the area, please come on by on Saturday or on Sunday or Monday. And I posted a graphic with all of the times, and I will post it again today. And it's on our YouTube channel, and it's on Twitter, and it's on Instagram as well. So look for that. It's also on our Facebook page as well. But I would love to see you guys. And but right now, it is time for This Day in Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for June 8th. On this day in 1984, two of the best movies of all time hit theaters. The supernatural comedy Ghostbusters and the supernatural comedy Gremlins both hit theaters on the same day, thrilling audiences with their blend of humor, horror, and cutting-edge special effects. Ghostbusters, as everyone knows, focuses on paranormal investigators who bust ghosts in New York City and features dry, witty humor crafted by screenwriters and co-stars Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. Ghostbusters also featured the original pop song by Ray Parker Jr., which we're not going to sound up on because we'd get busted by YouTube's copyright bots. Gremlins, as everyone also knows, tells the story of little mischievous monsters who overrun a small American town. And like Ghostbusters, it also uses humor to put a fresh spin on what otherwise might have been a traditional horror concept. It seems appropriate that Gremlins and Ghostbusters were released on the same day given their similarities, with both of them helping to define an entire decade in cinema. Both of them also have crappy sequels, but the less said about those, the better. Man, June 8th, 1984 was a fantastic day to be alive, huh? I can remember seeing both of those movies in the theaters with a huge smile on my face. All right, you guys, earlier today, I checked out a movie. Disney sent me the Blu-ray of A Wrinkle in Time to review, and I didn't see this in the theaters. And I was looking forward to seeing this because, you know, it looked fantastic in terms of color, in terms of these fantastical elements, and we were going to be sort of wrinkling up the universe and traveling to all kinds of cool places. And I thought, oh man, this could be really, really cool. And I was excited to see it. And I thought some of it was actually pretty sweet. Just looking for a graphic here that I'm going to stick up here. Okay, there we go. But ultimately, the movie felt a little bit like it wasn't for me, you know? I'm very anxious to watch this again with my daughter because I love the inclusiveness of the picture and the diversity of the picture, which I think were very big platforms for the director, Ava DuVernay, who incorporated this book that's been around for a long time, which I haven't read. Maybe I will read it with my kid at one point. But it's a classic, apparently. And the idea of transporting these visuals from the novel into a movie seemed quite daunting until, of course, we have the technology that can make us believe anything today. Unfortunately, we are inundated with lots of fantastical imagery, and that's just not enough, I think, to transport us. What this movie kind of reminded me of is more of a kid-friendly version of Chris Nolan's Interstellar, where we get a sense of a father who has disappeared, and we have a couple of children that are entreated to go and find him and bring him back to their family and bring them back to their regular life. And they have to do a lot of traveling and a lot of exploration to find them. And it's really a movie about the power of love and the power of light against dark forces. We are introduced to this sort of darkness, this entity of darkness, and it overtakes certain characters within the movie. There's some pretty big cameos in here. Zach Galifianakis is in here. Chris Pine plays the father, and famously the misses, these ethereal beings that have lived for millennia, are portrayed by Oprah Winfrey, making her return to the movie screens after a long period away. Reese Witherspoon's in there, and Mindy Kaling is in there. So very interesting casting. I do feel like the movie suffers from everybody being in awe of everything that's around them all the time. And I think back to the fantasy work that I love, whether it's Avengers or Star Wars or whatever, or even Avatar, which had lots of awestruck moments in it as well. But there has to come a time when the actors just sort of feel their roots and they aren't in awe of all the green screen elements to be added in later. And the movie doesn't really lift from that, in my estimation. It almost reminded me of early Harry Potter films when we had so many shots of the kids just going, I can't believe that. I can't believe, And I don't think it's, an acting problem per se. I think that it was just people being sort of incredulous that it was all coming together, and Disney supported these grand visions. And, ultimately it is also in competition with other super grand visions out there. And I review so many of those things that I couldn't help but compare and contrast this to the beautiful imagery in a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie or, a ton of other things that I watch. Even massive, cool Netflix shows these days are incredible. So I think that it's a great idea that this thing got made. I know it didn't do extremely well at the box office. It came in a bit of a disappointment. It also has the encumbrance of having to be a bit of an origin story and having to define the universe and explain everything. I had problems with the fact that these magical beings were such, I guess they were trying to convey a familiarity with the Earthlings that they were connecting with, but they just took from so much Earth culture in their initial connection with these kids that it looked like a kind of a missed opportunity. These were beings that have existed across dimension and time and space, and I just think that they could have been a little bit more fantastical, and instead they look like they were in really funky clothes and lots of sparkles and stuff. I did like Michael Peña's bit in there, and truthfully, I think Zach Galifianakis, when he isn't being so sarcastic and such a funny comedic actor, and he's got a good physicality about him, but there is an earthy, believable sort of break your heart quality about the way that he connects with people. And he twists it and pokes fun at it in a lot of his other movies, but he's got some really powerful connect with the kids moments in here, and I was really impressed with that. And I love Chris Pine as an actor too. I like his fearlessness and the stuff that he does. So it was fun to watch him. And Reese Witherspoon and Oprah Winfrey and Mindy Kaling are all fun to watch as well. They do feel like they're kind of struggling in their dresses a little bit as they're trying to play out of their dresses, like they really don't look like they can move, which seems like a bit of a hampering there. And the kids are great. The kids were actually really, really fun to watch. So honestly, I felt like this movie wasn't really for me, but I was intrigued, and I do applaud the efforts to build it. It looked lovely on my screen. I enjoyed watching all the behind-the-scenes stuff. There's a short blooper reel. They've got pretty good music in this thing. Sade actually has a song in there. I'm a fan of hers. So I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But I am looking forward to showing my daughter this movie when she grows up a little bit. I'm going to give A Wrinkle in Time on Blu-ray a 6 out of 10. And right now, it's time to look at a buried treasure. Back in 2012, Midway Arcade Origins came out for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, and thankfully, Microsoft has made it backwards compatible on the Xbox One, and you can buy it on the digital store and download it to your Xbox One hard drive, and that's exactly what I've done. Now, Midway Arcade Origins collects a ton of classic Midway games, and Midway is a company that has gone to the ether. Rest in peace, Midway. But they brought us so many incredible titles like Defender and Robotron and Joust. And what this collection does is organize a bunch of those sort of early arcade hits that really helped to put Midway on the map. These are classic 80s arcade experiences. Some of them are incredibly challenging, and some of them are virtually unplayable in 2018 and going forward. But a lot of them are super cool, and I think this thing is worth it just for the Joust games and the Defender games. Smash TV is a classic, and Robotron, it stands as one of my favorite arcade experiences of all time. It is so eminently playable, made by the master Eugene Jarvis. I think this is worth collecting. I think this is worth sort of diving into if you love video games today and want to see what teams of one or two people were building with archaic computer systems back in the day that really were the building blocks of the video game industry. I think you owe it to yourself to check out this collection. So whether you're a lifer like I am, you're relatively new to playing video games, or you have kids that are just sort of starting to experience video games, this is a history lesson. It's pretty damn impressive the way that all of this stuff was collected for you, and I think you're still going to have a tremendously fun time playing some of these classic games. That's why Midway Arcade Origins is absolutely a buried treasure. Love those classic games, you guys. I think it's important for more people to go out and hunt and discover Midway games anywhere that they can get them. I remember I played Robotron on my 360 like crazy, and even I recorded that footage late last night, and it was so addictive. I played Robotron so many times to try to get further in the game. That's a tough one, though. All right, we are going to talk about some E3 games that are going to be available for people to play at E3. I was at E3 Judges Week a couple of weeks ago and got some hands-on time, and so we can talk about some of these right now. We're going to talk about Days Gone for the PlayStation 4. This is from Sony Bend. It comes out in February of 2019, and this is the zombie apocalypse is upon us, and there's hordes of zombies, kind of like 28 Days Later. They move, or the other zombie one, the Brad Pitt one. What was that one? What is it? World War Z, yes, which had an interesting aesthetic, not a great movie, but the idea of tons and tons of zombies chasing after our hero is pretty damn cool. Sam Witwer is the actor that embodies this character, who is a motorcycle gang guy, and he's also got a pretty hot ride that he has to take care of. The motorcycle factors big time into the mechanics of the gameplay, and I actually had a good time playing this game. I am looking forward to this thing. I love third-person action adventures that give me a nice world to explore and some puzzles to solve and some mysteries and some battling. Those hook me. That's the thing that I naturally gravitate towards first for fun. So I did get that. There were some slowdown issues in the code that I got, but they pushed back the release date, I think, a little bit. I mean, Sony is not being gun shy that they're investing in this thing until it's good. And Sony Bend, this is an important title for them. They've been traditionally known as a kind of a more of a handheld developer, but they make console quality games for handheld. And this is Sony, like the Uncharted Golden Abyss game, which is excellent. And they worked on some Siphon Filter games, which were also superb. So they have it in them to make something really, really cool. My big dilemma with this game is that it's not connected in any way to The Last of Us, as far as I know, and that just seems like a massive missed opportunity to me because, clearly Sony has got this burgeoning universe with The Last of Us, and we've got these creatures, but it's not. They're zombies. Zombies, and I forget what the Last of Us creatures are called. They're not the exact same thing. Anyways, I had a good time with Days Gone. The extra time will serve the game well. I got it on official word that Sam Witwer's concerns about how long the process was taking was all planned from Sony Bend because they know how Sony works. And so they are taking their sweet time, and they're going to make us a good game. And I did enjoy that quite a bit, and I know that the frame rate will increase, and I know that it'll look great on the PlayStation 4 Pro, so I can't wait for that game. Another game I can't wait for PlayStation 4, which blew me away, is Dreams. This is Media Molecule's game, which has been very esoteric, very difficult to describe. Every time I've seen B-roll of it, I'm like, what is this thing? And really what it is, it's like a playable video game sort of competitor to the Unreal Engine or Unity, but from Media Molecule's kind of accessible, toy-like, plushy, malleable kind of perspective. And so you can build anything you really want to in this game, and there will be gameplay that kind of shows you that. I like their Little Big Planet work, and like Tearaway. It will kind of show you some of the routines and some of the customizable options that are available to you as you progress through the story within the gameplay. But that's just where the game starts. This is really about play, create, share. What's new this time is that it's like a full 3D experience. So you can make racing games, you can make 3D shooters, you can make 2D shooters, you can make 3D platform games, you can make the most difficult types of experiences that you can think of, fighting games, anything. And you can drill right down into composing music for this game. One of the things that excited me the most is that you can actually create a team of people to collaborate on different sections of this game in real time over the internet and essentially create a studio. This is a game that doesn't just give you the opportunity to build your own content. You can actually assemble a group to collaborate and build something together at the same time. And it's mind-boggling. I mean, it's a very difficult sort of key concept to present to people because it's so open-ended. And I know that a lot of busy people, and this goes to a lot of game reviewers like myself, who have to look at all of these different pieces of code coming in, and we're always reviewing new things. We don't have a lot of time to kind of create. But there are people that love to tinker and whittle and build their own stuff. And I know that Media Molecule is going to be going the extra mile to kind of reach out into the community, potentially working with game design schools and things like that around the world, and let people just go to town with this. And I cannot wait to see. I firmly believe that as far as a game engine within a video game goes, because there are other things like RPG Maker and stuff that are also, very robust, but they don't come kind of out of the box with all of these playable elements. This is going to be the most accessible and likely the most free-form and customizable game engine, game-making thing that has ever been published. And you could put that on the box right there, Sony and Media Molecule. But I am psyched for Dreams, and I'm so happy for Media Molecule that the light is at the end of the tunnel, because I know that this has been a hard one. And this is such a complex project, and they're not squandering this opportunity. They're going to build us something special. Can't wait for Dreams. I had a very, very good time and a great demo with those folks. Another thing that surprised me very much was a game called Indivisible, and this is a game that's been in development for a while from the team that brought us Skullgirls. It was crowdfunded, I think, way back in 2015, and now it's being published by 505 Games. And I think just today the founder pack was revealed, or people that invested in the game way back when. They're getting content today, and they're going to be doing more of a reveal of this title at E3. It kind of fuses a JRPG mechanic with a Metroidvania mechanic, and it does it in an elegant way. So that means that when you get into these battles that are randomly kind of populated as you move from screen to screen, just like in Castlevania and Metroid games, it then flashes out to a JRPG turn-based kind of combat system, and you create a team, and there's characters that you meet along the way that you can interchange with other characters that you continue to meet as you progress, and they all have abilities and skill trees and things like that, and you can effectively create the super team that you want. And you get into these awesome battles, and it's made with such a high degree of charm, and it just looked great on the screen. I was really taken aback that, I can't remember a game quite like this, where somebody took these two tried and true genres or sort of mechanics within two-dimensional gameplay and fused them together into something really quite accessible and fun and deep, and also kind of crafted with a real tip of the hat to and an homage to lots of classic games that have come before. Indivisible looked like hella fun. I got some good time with it. I didn't want to put the controller down. I can't wait to get the final. They actually offered me, 505 said, do you want this early pack? And I'm like, I have so many games to review at E3 coming up. I know I won't have time to look at this thing as early code, but I can't wait for the finished. That was a really nice surprise. I guess most of these games that I'm going to talk about today are things that I'm psyched for. The next one is a game called Pray for the Gods, which was Prey for the Gods, but then ZeniMax and Bethesda said, no, we've got a franchise called Prey. You might have heard about it. So they made them change it to Praey, so like the Old English style of Prey. And this is a love letter to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Shadow of the Colossus, and it's made by 3 people. And I played the demo of this thing, and it's, not as elegant and perfect as those sort of core games that they gladly, espouse that they took influence from, and they say, well, those are amazing games that are influencing developers all over the place, and yes, these things influenced us, and we hope people like it. And the audacity to build this in Unity with this very tiny team, and it is so epic and big. And it was fun. It was cool. You have to kind of search for your route to find the giant monster, and there's a bit of adventuring, and there's a bit of exploration and finding treasures and things like that will benefit you in your battle against these giant creatures. It was gorgeous, and the music was really cool, and it's been taking a long time to build. I think they revealed it a couple of years ago, but They're looking at the finish line. I think it will probably launch next year, but I had a good time playing this. The guys behind it are extremely happy with the response, and they're extremely proud of the where they're at so far, and it was just infectious. It was nice to hear from these guys, and they're vets. Obviously, these are not like neophyte designers. These are people that have worked on some big AAA games, and they said, "Nope, we're going to go off and just build our own dream, our own thing." And one of the things that they did say is that not many people are tackling games of this scale, mostly because they're scared away of I guess, the comparisons. But it took us a long time to get Shadow of the Colossus in its best form, which is the most recent remastered game. And there haven't been many giant battling experiences out there. So I applaud their audacity to go ahead and say, look, we can make a giant battling game that has kind of a fantasy core and is also a tip of the hat to Zelda. So good on them. Pray for the gods. Will be out soon, and you should look for it. Indie game, probably won't cost you the full price, $80 or whatever the Shadow or Zelda costs you either. So there's another in the plus column. I got some great hands-on time with Kingdom Hearts 3, and I had a massive smile on my face when I played that game. I think I mentioned it a little bit on the rundown that I actually shot at the Square Enix event that they had on the Santa Monica Promenade. And it was great, man. It was really fun. It was really accessible. Some of the dialogue was a little quirky, and it felt sort of hampered by some of the translation or something. It just didn't feel authentically Buzz and Woody. They have a huge emphasis on Toy Story and Pixar. Because clearly there's a lot of new Pixar stuff that's coming soon. And the Toy Story level was just awesome. You're jumping into giant robots. You get a little cameo there from Wreck-It Ralph, and I was floored at how beautiful it was, how fun it was to play. Some of the gags and some of the interplay was really funny as well. I mean, the Toy Story team are incredulous and kind of freaked out by Mickey Mouse and his posse, and they're like, "We don't want to hang with you." And then some of them chase after them and say, "Yeah, we're going to help." And then Buzz finally says, "Okay, I'll go and help you." Or no, I think it was Woody. Woody was the naysayer, the protector. And you know what? They got it. They got the charm of Disney, and they have the horsepower now, and they've got the years of development because, let's face it, we've been waiting forever for this one. So it's tuned, and it felt great. There was also this other battling a giant type of creature, which was fun, but it wasn't as... it didn't enamor me with the same quality as the Toy Story levels, where you're actually going through a shopping mall and you end up in a toy store and you battle all of these toys that have come to life. It was fun. Yeah, very, very excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. I think Disney fans and Pixar fans are going to freak for that. And the last game that I'm going to talk about, which I think there's just been some footage revealed not too long ago, is Team Sonic Racing. This is being developed in partnership by the Sonic team in Japan and also Sumo, who built a Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which I love. And that game is dated. That game almost deserves a remaster because they just released it for free on Xbox One, and you can download the 360 game and play it on your Xbox One. And I did. I wanted to check it out. But I love the ambition of that game, and I love the music remixes and stuff that they had across the entire Sega spectrum. I thought that was awesome. And this game was kind of a thin demo. We got to kind of race around, and the emphasis this time is on creating a team and kind of sharing the workload to come in first place. And it isn't so much a singular thing. You're trying to help your teammates, and your teammates can make a huge difference in how you perform. You're also collecting these wisps, which are from one of the Sonic games, one of the 3D Sonic, maybe Sonic Colors or something. You're collecting the wisps, and the wisps can affect the way that you're racing and the abilities that you have. It felt precise. It felt like the racing was solid there, but I didn't get that charm blast that I got from the Racing Transformed game, and I wasn't like, oh, look, your vehicle's changing into all these different types of, flying craft and then watercraft and all this. It was strictly on the road, lots of holding the sort of slide button to boost kind of thing, the power drift button. and trying to get ahead and trying to keep your teammates there beside you. It played all right, but I want to see a lot more before I'm super hyped. I thought it was honestly not the best. And it's interesting because they revealed it not too long ago, and their reveal was very vague. And so this was the first time that they showed it to us, and it was hands-on, and it was fun. But I raced it a couple of times. I'm like, okay, I've played a million card games, and there was nothing in there that just blew my mind yet. Maybe we'll have more to see and more to play. I'm actually going to be talking with people from the team at E3. So I'll try to find out some more information. I am a fan of the Sega racing games, particularly the last one, so hopefully this one turns out good. But that's a nice little taster. We've got a lot more first impressions, and we've got a bunch of interviews, and Blake and I are going to be on the floor next week at E3, and tomorrow, just a reminder, we're at EXP Bar and Restaurant on Pender Street in Vancouver, where we are going to be hosting the E3 press conferences along with who's ever in the establishment to join us. We'll have EPN t-shirts there that people can pick up. Price for these will be $25, and it has to be cash only because we're not a store. We don't have credit cards or anything like that. But if you come down to see us in downtown Vancouver, we cannot wait. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have the crowd behind us and on screen with us. And hopefully there'll be lots of reveals throughout the weekend that will have us all cheering. But we will see you there. And you guys get a chance to, what are we watching right now? Okay, and now we are moving on to a review on the run. This is Wizard of Legend. Wizard of Legend is my most recent addiction on the Nintendo Switch. This is a top-down, kind of isometric roguelike made with pixel art, and I think I've said that statement several times over the last few years. It just feels like retro gaming is going full steam ahead, and there are lots of great choices out there, lots of roguelike dungeon crawly type of experiences like this. But this feels a little bit different. First of all, you play a wizard that is really powerful right from the get-go. You start off in this museum and you learn to kind of utilize some of the mechanics of the gameplay. You understand that the cards offer these different magic spells. They're called arcana within the game. And then you can also pick up relics and other things that can augment your character. And then you're sent off into what's called these chaos trials, which is really the kind of roguelike experience. And it's randomized for you every time you do it with different settings and backgrounds. You might be in a kind of a lava kind of dungeon or an ice type dungeon. And you deal with some pretty tremendously powerful bad guys that will swarm you, and you might get shadow creatures, you might get other wizard types coming after you, you might get giant stone demons or little balls of goo that will shoot little spikes at you, or archers. You kind of have to understand where you're going to position yourself within each of these challenges that you're going to face, and they kind of happen room to room as you progress through your dungeon. And so mobility is key, and you have this kind of boost mechanic which whips you around in all kinds of directions super fast. You've got a hack and slash type mechanic or a closer sort of melee attack of some kind. You also have these super powerful attacks, and I loved this sort of flaming dragon effect that I got early on in the game. You could also shoot out ice projectiles or an earth dragon that will dig under the ground and come and get you. There's tons of different cards to collect that will give you lots of variety in your spells, and that's one of the best things about Wizard of Legend. There's also lots of different relics that will augment your character in different ways as well. They will be defensive, offensive, or just sort of miscellaneous items. Maybe you can collect more gold off of fallen enemies. And there are two economies in the game. There is gold to collect and there is gems to collect. The gold is more useful when you're actually in battle in the Chaos Trials. You'll meet these vendors along the way that will sell you a health potion or some kind of armament or some kind of special power that will help you try to survive for as long as you can on your run. But a lot of those kind of get depleted if you leave the Chaos Trials and go back to the kind of home base. In the home base area, there are also vendors that will sell you new arcana or new relics and stuff that you can help to augment, and those are permanent additions to your collection and your inventory, and you can mix and match. You have to get good at using everything, though, and you have to understand how using one system with another system is going to help to make you a more fearsome opponent, because the challenge is very high, and I'm not very good at this game. I died a lot, but that's kind of the thing with roguelikes. It's like you learn a little bit more every every time you go out on a run. And of course, you're going to face off against boss opponents, and you're just going to keep cruising along, a little bit like Ghosts and Goblins kind of style, until you get to as far as you can in your run. It's going to take you a long time, I think, unless you play in co-op mode, because it's a little bit of an easier experience if you've got somebody else to play with, which is another cool addition. I just love the fluidity, and the animations are fantastic, and all of the spell effects. This was a really easy game to get into and pick up and play. I just love the aesthetics and the style, and the music is fantastic. It's composed by Dale North, who's a friend of mine. He used to be a video game journalist and used to cover the business, and he said, nah, I'm going to go and follow my true passion and make music for video games. And this is one of the first games that I'm playing where I'm experiencing his work, and man, did he make the right choice. His music is incredible in this game. This is a really cool experience, and it's one of these two-dimensional, sprite-based, pixel-based experiences that just goes to show you that it's not about state-of-the-art fidelity, it's not about photoreal, it's about game design and games that are super fun to play, which is exactly what Wizard of Legend is. Now, I wish there was a little bit more variety in the environments. I wish that the difficulty ramp was a little bit easier. It wouldn't be a bad thing for this game to offer some difficulty options, but I have very little to quibble about this game. I think it's terrific. I'm going to give Wizard of Legend an 8.5 out of 10. Hello, my friends. So, Wizard of Legend, you go ahead and get that game. You're going to have a good time with that. Doesn't matter what platform you get it, because it's everywhere, but it's amazing on the Switch. And speaking of Switch, I got a copy of Shaq Fu for free because I had bought the NBA Playgrounds game. I don't know who made that game, but they said that because you bought it before our game was really ready for prime time, they said we're going to throw in some Shaq Fu for you. Look at this. It's the classic Genesis Shaq Fu I have in my collection. It's like a time traveling trip right here on EP Live. It always blows my mind when I go to the shelf and I see some of these things that I don't know if I bought this. I can't remember. I think EA might have sent that. I have the Michael Jordan Chicago Windy Streets basketball platform and thing too, but couldn't get Shaq on the show yet. We'll keep bugging him. If you guys want to tweet at Shaq and say go on EP Live, it'd be very cool. It would be very cool. Before, haven't we? We've had him on EP. I've met him a few times. Yeah, he's challenged me. He's a funny dude. I love that guy. I think he's just hilarious. And he's fun. He's in this game like crazy. But I thought it'd be fun for us to take a look at Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn.
He's in the title of the game too.
Don't expect greatness. Okay, Chaos in the Windy City. Thank you, Sammy M111. Thank you all for being here, by the way. We've had a lot of content to get through, so I haven't really said hello. But who's here? Powder Keg, Gid Money 007, Wesley West, Faramer, Thorazine 666.
Faramer just became a sponsor.
Oh, right on. Thank you so much, Faramer. You rock. You got 2 thumbs up from 2 guys and 2 EPN t-shirts. It's not weird, right? It's a little bit weird. It's all good.
It's not weird at all.
It's kind of cool. If you ever have a dream and you love it, and you go ahead and make T-shirts of it, it's a fun day when you get a brand on a shirt that you helped to create. I put this brand on a napkin and I gave it to our graphics guy, Tavis Dunn, our art director. And I said, "Could you make that look cool?" And boy, did he ever! He made it look super cool. And then he actually did some tweaking right at the 11th hour for the shirt, and he did a great job. And he's coming down to EXP. He's going to come and see us.
Yes. See Tavis?
Yeah, and I'm going to give him one of the shirts because I love that guy.
Because he designed it.
And he designed it, yeah. Taz is in here. Blade Blur, good to see you. Leaf Fan B. Tyler Fisher, thanks for coming. Jordan Cunningham. Audrion Leon, we were talking about love. And talk about peace. That's good, too. Fat Chimp, Kovalin. Wow, there's a ton of you guys in here. Thank you so much for joining. Donnie Swangor, Donnie S., Paul Adamson, you guys are awesome. Blake is here to help me sort of handle the questions, which Ryan did the right way. He said, he put it in all caps. When are they going to make a Vic Fu game? I think they like to put me in as voices of old men, like in Maximo. And I've been in... hockey games as one of the playable characters, but nobody's made a fighting game with me. I'm a Canadian man. I'm a peace nut, right? We're lovers, not fighters.
These people are all very excited to see Shaq Fu, Vic.
Let's do this. Let's get on with this.
RN Jesus.
Hold on. I have to restart this thing here. 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Because we got a weird audio deal.
Oh, hang on. Before you close it, let me...
Okay. That's all good.
Is the audio giving you problems, or...?
Yep, I can hear it. It'll be fine now.
Let me make sure it's right.
Yeah, it's all good. I know my quirks now. We've been doing this long enough. Yeah. It's, we have systems plugged in through an Elgato thing, and then it goes through the game capture HD thing, and then it goes through HDMI cables to the TV and to the, I don't know, to the box in there, and then OBS freaks out sometimes.
RN Jesus wants to know more about the EXP bar event. I posted the address in the chat. It's on Pender Street in Vancouver, so we're going to be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yep.
Streaming the E3 press conferences. So come and bring your friends.
We will be there tomorrow morning. I think the EA press conference kicks off at 10 or 10:30, so we will do our live show at 10 a.m. Pacific, so that's 1 p.m. Eastern. So please tune in. It'll be on this channel through that stuff right here. Our buddy Bear Safi Baruti from his channel, which is awesome by the way, will be joining us and co-hosting with me. And we will just be reacting and talking over the press conferences as they happen, and we'll, maybe conduct some quick polls and get asked some questions of the audience. It's going to be a lot of fun. So EA first on Saturday, and then on Sunday it is Xbox in the early afternoon, and then Bethesda in the evening. And then on Monday it is Square Enix in the morning, Ubisoft in the afternoon, and PlayStation in the evening. And we're going to be there for all of that.
And the bar's going to be open for all of that too.
Bar's open, restaurants open. They've got an exciting new menu they were talking to us about. Maybe some different food items for the early morning one on Saturday. But I'm just psyched. This is going to be so much fun. We've never done anything like this before. And
we're all very nervous about it not working.
Well, I'm not nervous. I think it's going to be great.
Well, I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I'm the one who's got to set up all this crap.
Yeah, well, hopefully the technology does not fail us, because sometimes technology can fail us. Okay, so let's get into this game here. So we are...
Where are you right now? It's like a car factory in the middle of...
Yeah, it's very loose. I think I'm in a place called Hung Lo, which, there's some silly...
Where they make cars and then throw them down a pit?
Yeah, I guess so. And these guys have really annoying shields that actually do a tremendous amount of blocking, and then that hammer with the hand is actually very powerful. These guys were kind of pissing me off a little bit.
I have a good question from Taz. Wants to know what are we going to do in the time between the conferences on Sunday?
We are going to be playing some games which we haven't determined yet, and streaming some of that too, and chatting with the people that are there. But we're hanging out that whole time, so we will definitely have game systems set up, and people will be playing stuff, and we will have fun. That's all I can say right now. We still have to kind of have a production meeting to figure out exactly what we're going to do through there. But we're not going anywhere, and we're going to keep streaming, and we're going to keep hanging out with people.
Labeler says the game audio is okay.
Great.
That makes me happy to hear.
Great.
Because I can't hear the game right now, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I can hear it. It sounds okay.
But the way you hear it is not the same as
True
the
that.
level on the stream.
True that.
Yeah. It's always tough to know. Vic, did you see my sweet N64 game boxes?
I did.
That's from Tyler Fisher.
I did, Tyler. Heartbreaking that they got boosted, man. That sucks.
So what happened?
He got broken into and lost the cartridges, but he has the boxes.
Okay. When did this happen?
I don't know. But he has the photographic evidence of ownership, and then somebody screwed him out of his games.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Clayton Blair says he lives in Vancouver but will be too busy to attend our event.
Oh, really? That sucks.
That's fine. You can watch it. There'll be a...
Yeah, we're going to archive everything.
We're going to live stream it, and then you can watch the archive.
Okay, so those guys are a pain in the butt, and I'm gonna just try to concentrate and not read.
You gotta focus on.
I gotta get my Shaq Fu down.
You gotta hone your chi.
Yes.
For the Shaq Fu.
I may be able to skip that. Let me see. Let me go.
The town is called Hung Lo.
Yeah, it's Hung Lo. Yeah.
I get it.
Okay, continue. I didn't get to there. Oh, I got to this checkpoint though. Okay, so there's a look at all the different levels. We go to Sunset Strip, Bel Air, and Fiji. Okay, checkpoint 2.
I think I need a smaller size of shirt. The shirt's way too big on me, Vic.
You feeling it?
Yeah.
You feeling like you're in a tent?
I'm swimming in this thing. I wasn't sure if...
He's in an extra large, I'm in a large.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I'd be a large or extra large, so I... whatever. It's fine. Your watch is talking to you, Vic?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Look, everyone, Vic's on his iWatch.
Okay, sorry.
Are you excited about the new Apple Watch, Vic?
Is there a new one?
I don't know.
I love my Apple Watch. I'm happy I have it.
I'm happy you have one.
Yeah.
I love getting weird text messages from you where it's you speaking and the dictation doesn't work properly. And I just have these weird, like, word poetry things.
You have to decipher it.
Yeah, I have to decipher it.
Sometimes it works, sometimes not. Okay, so Shaq actually has quite a few moves. He's got the you've got these different meters up on the screen there, like the lightning meters, which give you the charge attack thing like that, and then you've got this epic kick. Well, that's the punch, but you've got this epic kick where you can. Oh, I have to level that up a bit. Okay, now I can't. I can actually kick a bunch of guys all at the same time. Oh, attacking, build up the energy, and then wham! And then sometimes they'll come flying at the screen. Reminds me a little bit of Kung Fu Chaos. Racially charged, but still ridiculously fun original Xbox game that actually used the Kung Fu fighting theme song. It was supposed to be like the sort of exploitation flicks of the 70s. That was actually a pretty fun game. I might do that as a buried treasure.
Blade Blur has a question. If this event at the EXP bar on 308 West Pender, 309 West Pender, if it goes well, will we do more live events like that?
I think so, right? I think like we've never made a shirt before that I made some just like PR shirts early in our career with EP, and I took them down to E3 and gave them out to a bunch of people. But we've never made a shirt that we've sold before, but I feel like the time is right for us to have some merch. We're going to start with this shirt. Working on a way to get this onto an online store and deal with the fulfillment and the shipping and all that stuff, because like we're tiny, so we just don't want to spend a whole bunch of time like filling out forms every day and going to the press to the mailbox place and shipping them all out. But
we have more people.
Yeah, but we're gonna figure it out. And we're gonna have an ability for you to purchase the shirt, and then we'll see how all of this stuff flies. You know, if people want more merch, we will figure that out. And if people want more events, we will figure that out. But for now, we know we have a job to do, which is sort of get into the stream of these press conferences, and hopefully there's lots of awesome games that we all get excited about.
And then we got to go to LA and run around the convention for 3 days.
Yes, we do.
And get a whole bunch of interviews, play some games.
Yeah.
Get stuck in LA traffic on the way to the airport afterward.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, you know the routine.
Yeah. There's always a mad dash when E3 ends, because it ends at 5 o'clock on the Thursday.
Yeah.
And there's a huge traffic to the airport.
Yeah.
It's rush hour traffic in LA.
Most people leave on the Thursday.
Everybody has a flight to catch, so it's like this mad dash. It's always fun.
And we will get some. I just knocked him over with my size 22 shoe. We will get some interview bites with different people in the video game industry about their thoughts on E3. I don't think we're going to be doing the full stand-up with everybody like we have in the past, mostly because people are starting to work for publishers and things like that, and it's starting to be a little bit
a lot of our
uncomfortable for some of these guys.
A lot of our former EP and Reviews on the Run hosts, they're all working for publishers.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a conflict of interest.
Yeah. which we wish them all well, and we hope that they're all having a fantastic time. But yeah, it makes it a little bit different. But there are lots and lots of people that we know that will be perfect to be on EP, and we'll get some good information, and good contacts, or good sound bites and good combos with those folks.
Faramer wants to know what the shirts are made of.
Cotton, 100%.
Is it cotton?
Yep. They're soft cotton.
100% cotton.
I could have got a lower price shirt, which is like the fine basic tee, but I went up a little bit and got the soft t-shirt.
Oh, so made in Honduras.
So it's softer cotton. It feels nice.
It's made in Honduras. It's not made in China for some reason.
And I've washed mine already. Didn't shrink too much, if at all. I died with these scumbags.
Make sure you wash it in cold water, otherwise the logo will crack. Right? Did you wash it in cold water or hot water?
I always wash darks in cold water.
Yeah.
And I always flip my shirts inside out. Yeah. And then
if you iron this too, it'll get all sticky. So.
Yeah.
Dang, Vic knows his shirts, says Pat Chimp.
Well, the minute I thought maybe we should have a shirt.
It's not hard to know. It's not hard to know a T-shirt. I mean, it's not like it's a fancy piece of clothing.
There are lots of options though, especially when you're about to put your credit card down and start to figure out where you're going to spend. And one of the things that's always been I've always held off on is like we're not a T-shirt company. We're not a merchandise company. So I didn't really want to have like an inventory of things kicking around because trust me, we have a lot of things kicking around, and so I've been hesitant. But this live event, and I think we've been talking online about having a T-shirt for the past little while. I brought it up on Twitter, and a lot of people responded affirmatively. It just feels like the right time,
D-Banger has a question.
D-Banger
does so much banging, he has a son due any day now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's a bad play on his name there. Yes. But, he wants a shout out. So
congratulations. Any day, that's amazing. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to watch us right now. That's amazing. When you've got your son, and he's, I don't know if this is your first kid, but one of the things you're going to realize...
Oh, no, it's his second son.
Second, okay. Well, they sleep all the time when they're brand new. And you can still game, and you can still watch some stuff, and have a life while they're sleeping. I remember playing Mass Effect 3 with Ruby sleeping on me, and she was like that big. It was so crazy. But then they move a lot more, and they're up, and you don't want them watching people get garroted and murdered and things. So you have to be a lot more sort of present and aware of what is correct for them.
My sister was just playing Monster Hunter World with her newborn.
Right.
So the kid was born like the day Monster Hunter came out.
That's great.
So she's sitting there playing it with the kid.
That's so awesome.
How are you feeling about this game, Vic? Is it good?
It's mindless, and I like the sense of humor.
Why are you still in the same area?
I keep dying by those shield guys. They're actually pretty tough.
And they make you redo all this crap?
Yeah.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah. Like everybody else is pretty weak, and then you get to these shield guys, and they have this. Like the shield blocks everything, and I can't leap over it because it turns around right away.
Can't get in behind him at all.
No,
he does is
that's the only time, but it's not a lot of his health doesn't go down a lot. So I just don't have the patience. See, it hardly went down at all.
Seems kind of silly that they make you redo the whole thing leading up.
It's not a huge game.
Oh, they're trying to inflate the length of the game.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
All of these things, all of these 2D button mashing brawlers like this did the same kind of thing. Come on, doggy.
Jordan Cunningham, when are we doing our live stream tomorrow? When the first press conference starts?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
We will post everything again on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on our YouTube channel. To remind everybody.
Someone is saying dash through him. Is that a thing, or are they just being silly?
You can dash, and it does that.
Oh, okay.
So the shield's pretty powerful.
Is that all you have to do? Is just keep doing that one little hit on his back?
Yep.
That's kind of lame. Oh, he's getting there. He's almost down.
Yeah. I just don't have the patience. Okay, come on.
You got this, Vic.
Oh.
Well, maybe don't. It's almost there.
Oh. Saying you get stuck in the animations and then they capture it. Okay.
That's so lame that it's like, that's...
I gotta wait for that.
Maybe there's another way to attack them that...
I've tried every button combo that I had.
Just keep doing this, you're almost there.
It totally kills the pace and the fun, this part.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool that he has a shield.
Thing about a beat 'em up is you just want to beat 'em up.
Yeah, it's cool that he has a shield, but it's like he's invincible with the shield.
You only got to hit him one more time, dude.
Okay.
You got this. Oh, nice.
Another
but then more show up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame. That's super
See,
lame.
it's fun to beat these guys up because they're just fodder.
Is this the first level of the game?
Yes.
Seems kind of... Maybe there's a better way to kill this guy that we're not seeing.
I don't know, man.
The game maybe should have explained that better.
I guess I have this move, but like he has his shield up and nothing happened in the game. Nope. Crap. Oh, come on. I pressed the wrong
Scottish, Japanese forever. Are you streaming from base or the event? No, we're streaming from EXP. From the bar.
Yeah, we're not going to be down at the...
Yeah, no, we're not streaming from E3, because that'd be crazy.
People do it.
People do it, but it costs a lot.
Yeah.
That we don't.
Yeah.
We could probably go on like an Instagram, story or something. Doing a big setup
Off
like
the phone.
this.
Yeah.
Doing a big setup like this. No. You need X-Play money for that.
Yeah.
If X-Play were still on TV.
IGN's got their war room.
Yeah, IGN and what's the show that you were on a couple of years ago? Twitch always has a big stage there.
Oh, I was on the GameSpot show.
Yeah, they always have all the money, but yeah, if you're a small Canadian outlet like us, doesn't happen.
No.
You can't hit him in the front when his arm is down.
No.
That's stupid.
I really hate this character. It's terrible.
Yeah, this is not blowing my skirt up.
Right? Like, it's just stop the game, pretty much.
Yeah, like the fact that they make you do it twice. Maybe once is fine.
Oh, there's more of these guys coming, because they've got a certain budget for the models.
Yeah.
If I had Shaq on the show, we'd be talking about this right now.
Is there no basketball references? Like
Not yet.
You don't like throw a basketball at anyone?
I can't get past these stupid shield guys, so not yet.
You know what the good thing is about lame games video games, Vic? You can stop playing them whenever you want.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
It's really satisfying when a game is pissing you off to just rage quit it, I find. At least for me it is. It's like, oh yeah, game, you think you're so tough? Well, I'm just not going to play you anymore.
I don't rage quit that much anymore.
You've matured out of it?
Yeah.
Taz, didn't you destroy the shield once already?
I did once, but they come back.
No, okay, but didn't you destroy the shield that he's holding?
Yeah, it does. You do destroy it, but I don't know. I mean, I've played those against those guys a few times, and I've had issues with them every single time. Some of the like this thing looks like a break. There's some issues with the perspective on what you can hit. So I think I'm in a boss fight now. Okay.
Someone is saying you could try to dash, do your dash into him when he's down.
Circle to break shields. Oh, I'm playing on the.
What would circle be on?
That's the kick.
We're on the Switch, so we have the Switch.
Pressing the A button.
Don't you think that they should all make the button layout the same? Like the X, circle, square, like those should be the same on the four buttons.
Abby Jameson says it's either the dash or the Shaq Fu. Oh, I'm fighting a guy. This guy looks like one of the Oddworld Inhabitants characters. Okay. Oh! He's pretty tough, this guy. Blade
Blur loves Shaq's dry delivery. It's very charming and on point. point.
Yeah, I know. He's got some good lines in. He.
Not used to fighting a dude.
Oh, big hit.
Yeah, people are pointing out other outlets that have big E3 streams, like Disney XD has a block called DXP, the show. Yeah, do you know how much money Disney has? We don't have this. We don't have the money that Disney has, guys.
Honestly, though, like we could have spent money like that even when we had TV budgets. But I always felt like it was way more interesting to get out on the floor and talk to developers in front of their games and stuff.
Yeah, I remember my first E3, we were on the show floor, and we were running, this is 2008, and we're running around, and I see, like, X-Plane attack the show, and they have these, like, giant, setups everywhere, and it's like, you guys are just throwing money away. Just throwing money, it's just a money suck. But, I mean, now with streaming, it makes more sense to have a stage, but, yeah, you need money to do that. Firmer says circle to break shields. Oh, you already saw that.
Yep. No shields. Oh, this guy is tough.
How are you fighting this guy? Like, what's his weakness?
I'm just throwing everything at him. I'm throwing all my Shaq at him. All the Shaq I got.
Has any other basketball player made...
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
But like a goofy game like this?
Yep, Michael Jordan.
When did he make a game like this?
His was Chaos in the Windy City. Okay. I have it for the Super Nintendo.
Did that come out before this?
Yeah, I think so. And then this came out. And then the Dr. J and Larry Bird game, one-on-one, was a classic.
Who's Dr. J?
He was an old Philadelphia 76ers legend.
Oh, okay.
Incredible player.
I don't know sports, so.
Whoa, shit.
Basketball is the orange ball that you bounce.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Ah!
Oh, you were so close too.
Yeah.
You almost killed Frizzle.
I almost got Frizzle. Where am I going to start again? I hope I get to fight the guys with the shields. Though, that would be awesome.
I really hope they don't make you fight the
Julius
shield guys.
Erving, powder keg. There it is, on point.
Is Shaq the greatest comedic acting athlete? If not, who is?
Taz, streaming makes sense for real time. Going to booths makes sense for segments, yes. You can do real-time booth visits now with streaming, but you're talking about having some pretty heavy bandwidth in a sort of bandwidth-controlled environment because everybody's got some kind of Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but that's the other thing is, internet at E3
is tough.
It's really slow.
Yeah. Last year we made the choice to, you guys know, we streamed from here, and Bear joined me in the studio, and we had a really good time. It was not as thrilling personally as being in the live audience for the press conference, but I felt like we were watching it with you guys, and that was super cool. And every other year, after the invention of Twitter, I was just tweeting as I was watching all these things, and that was fun too. And the response to the tweets was always fun, but it's not the same as filming a live reaction and engaging with you guys in the chat. And now this year we're going to throw in the live connection with people in the room, which is going to be great.
Oh, and by the way, a bunch of people on the chat are talking about Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're working on Discord, guys. It's just a matter of taking the time to set it up.
We will do it.
It's on our very big and growing to-do list.
We sell shirts now.
We have a to-do list that we would love to do, but we're just two people.
Yeah.
Skate 4 at E3? Yeah, I think so. Powder keg. We talked about that yesterday.
What's that?
Skate 4.
Yeah. Hope so.
Cool.
That might be tomorrow, right? People will go nuts.
I can't wait to see what you get with the loot boxes in that game.
Oh, I think
it's gonna be so cool.
Very gun shy on talking about loot boxes. They should make a game called Loot Box.
Awesome. Tyler Fisher says, will you be meeting up with Greg Miller / Kinda Funny at E3?
Absolutely. We are exchanging shirts. I've got an EPN shirt for him, and he's got a Kinda Funny shirt for me.
Are we gonna? I mean, we're definitely gonna see them because the thing about E3 is you always bump into people you know, but like just hanging around.
No, I already.
Are we gonna be filming anything with them?
Yeah, not just a quick thing because he's super committed.
Right.
But I already booked it out with him yesterday, so we're gonna see him on Thursday.
Yeah, especially when you go to like the backstage press areas at E3, you always see like. You'll see a Ben Silverman, and then you'll see a Greg Miller. And then,
So another, let's say, 10 minutes of this, and then we go. Okay, so that older gentleman is kind of my trainer. Oh, I'm all powered up. That's good.
he's your Mr. Miyagi.
A little bit, yeah.
Why is there just a washing machine sitting there?
I don't know. It's kind of a junkyard, I guess. A hang-low junkyard. All right, checkpoint saved. We're making progress, everybody.
Yeah, we got a checkpoint.
Woo! Checkpoint!
Oh, that guy's got a sword, Dick. Watch out.
So I'll try to use the kick animation because it's pretty fun. They don't. It's not. I like the one where he kicks him right. Oh, can I pick that thing up?
Jordan Cunningham is asking, is this Shaq doing his own voice acting?
He's in there. Yep.
Better be. The game's called Shaq Fu.
Oh, what? Oh, there it is. Awesome.
Oh, cool! You threw him right at the screen.
Yeah, right. I mean, they've added some nice bits to this. Like
It's clever. Yeah, I like that.
It's playable, and it puts a smile on your face. I mean, I don't know what else you kind of expect out of a game called Shaq Fu starring Shaquille O'Neal. Wow.
Sorry. I'm just communicating with our friend Bladler about the Discord.
Oh, are you? Okay, cool. What do you guys think of this? I would imagine it's a little bit more fun to play it than to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't... I like the way it looks. I like the colors. It's nice and bright.
You know, one of the things that it has going for it is that nobody makes these types of games anymore. You know, nobody does beat-em-ups. There was a million of these things in the Super Nintendo era and the Sega Genesis era, and now they're rare. And it's kind of too bad because this is... oh, I can roll. I'm still learning stuff. Okay, that's cool. So he's shooting fireworks at me. That's pretty cool. There's awesome, like, Final Fight could come back, and I wouldn't mind a Streets of Rage.
Yeah, what's happened to Streets of Rage?
It's dormant, man. It's just sitting there.
What's that one that you just did on the 3DS? They had a new one.
Oh,
Something high.
Oh no, that's
It's
it's like the River City Ransom games. Yeah, those are great. I had a good time with that, actually. That was really fun.
Yeah, you reviewed that in New Orleans.
That's right. Yeah, they keep making those, and I guess the Yakuza game series kind of is a modernization of that, but it's all in 3D.
Yeah.
Super fun.
The original Shaq Fu, it wasn't the sort of... It was only a side-scroller. You couldn't go...
It was a beat-em-up.
But you couldn't go in the way that you can go in here?
Jeez, man, I can't remember.
Actually, I don't like that in games where they have the 3 or 4 different sort of planes within the side-scroller. It makes it confusing to me, like, where I am.
Yeah.
It's hard to know... Because it's hard to see the depth and who you're hitting. And
True.
I had that problem with the original Little Big Planet.
I had that problem on the minecarts in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Oh, yeah.
Such a tough game because you're bouncing between the three of them. Okay, give me this.
Taz is asking, will the Vampire review come before or after E3?
Likely after. I might shoot it at E3 if I have any more time to play it this weekend, but with all the press conferences and stuff. And I do want to see my family a little bit before I take off again.
Vic, are you going to meet up?
Oh, that's like I wish I had one of these before.
Oh, you just killed that guy right away?
Yes.
Nice.
These are pretty handy swords.
Vic, are you going to meet up with Brian Hartman at the Nintendo booth?
No. I did Facebook with him, and we're Facebook buddies now, and I've posted some of those vids on there, but he hasn't really replied, so I wonder if that's an era he chooses not to really think about or talk about too much.
Is he still at Nintendo?
No, he left a long time ago. But I always liked working with him. He's a super nice guy. What a character, huh? I liked when I encountered these people that were larger than life in the video game industry. They were great for TV, and you know, everybody was pretty chill, and that's the great thing about this business, right? Like, I think that's good. That's our good stream.
Are we done playing the game, Vic?
I think so, yeah, because I died right there. So, but that's a taste of Shaq Fu. The legend returns. I'll have a review for this one soon too.
Okay, bye, everyone.
That's the thing with the, you know, this business is so accommodating and so welcoming. At least it used to be. I would imagine that things are a little bit more mature these days. But everybody was cool. Everybody has been cool along the way. But whenever we encountered people like Cliff Bleszinski, and Tommy was hired, you know, because he stood out in a lot of ways. It was just great, you know. It was really because I was building a show. I was building a TV show and trying to show people's personalities. And when people came with these pre-built kind of personas like that, it was always made my job a lot easier. So shout out to Brian Hartman. You got some love here on the EP Live chat stream. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Remember, we have tons of content for you to surf through. We'll have a new classic episode of EP this weekend. It is EP Season 5, Episode 1 going up. We are going to be streaming starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning live from EXP Bar and Restaurant, which you can come to. It's at 309 Pender. We will have this shirt for sale. I'll sign stuff if you want me to sign stuff. I'm just looking forward to having fun and enjoying these video game reveals with you guys. And we're going to be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And if you're in the Vancouver area, we would love to see you. Check out the other content we've made. If you dig it, hit subscribe. Don't forget, we've got that little bell that you got to hit to get the notifications sometimes. Work on that, YouTube. And we've also got the sponsorship button on our gaming.youtube.com/EPNTV site. And don't forget, play forever.